Okay, picture this. It's 1 in the morning, an apartment in Arab Gamaza, El Saf City. It's dark, eerily quiet, but it's the kind of quiet that follows violence, not peace.
Right. And inside, Ahmed Nassar, he's 22, successful guy, scrap metal trader. He's supposed to be completely out.
Yeah, his wife, Warda, made sure of it, gave him juice laced with sleeping pills about an hour earlier, midnight.
The whole plan hinged on him being unconscious. Totally helpless. It had to be silent quick.
But it wasn't enough. Maybe the pills weren't strong enough. Maybe it was just pure survival instinct kicking in. He's suddenly shocked awake.
Not by a noise, though.
No, by a feeling. A sharp prick on his skin. He's groggy, confused, fighting the drugs, and he forces his eyes open.
And that must have been just sheer terror. He sees his wife, Warda, standing right over him, and there's another man with her, Mohamed.
Before Ahmed can even yell or really process this absolute betrayal, Mohamed lunges, clamps a hand over his mouth, trying to choke him.
Stop him from making any noise.
Exactly. Ahmed starts struggling, fighting back instinctively, and that's when Warda, she steps in. She was ready for this.
She had bought knives.
2 new ones.
Yeah.
Very sharp. She pulls one out and just starts stabbing him in the chest. Again and again.
It's brutal. He manages to twist away, trying to breathe, trying to escape, and she stabs him in the back.
And then Mohamed grabs the knife from her and keeps going. Until he's still. Dead on the floor. So much blood.
Just horrific. And this is only 4 months into their marriage. 4 months.
It's staggering. So that's our deep dive today. How does this happen? How does it get to this point? It's not just an affair gone wrong. This was a plan.
A calculated plot.
Yeah.
And it speaks to this complete, almost void of self-respect, of dignity, what they call Karama in that culture. How does this young woman from a seemingly quiet background in Bolak El Dekrur end up here?
Okay, let's go back. Bolak El Dekrur, 2007. Warda's 18, living with her family, respectable neighborhood.
And she gets involved with Mohamed Hassan. He's 22, works in a local coffee shop, a neighbor.
But there's a big difference in their situations, right? Financially, socially, he doesn't really have good prospects.
Not at all. And crucially, they decide this relationship has to be a complete secret, hidden from both families.
Why? Because it wouldn't be approved.
Exactly. And Mohamed, his excuse for never making it official, for not proposing, was always the same. I'm not financially ready yet.
But you're saying he knew. He knew he probably never would be ready or never intended to marry her properly.
The analysis suggests he knew he couldn't really offer her the kind of marriage her family expected, but he kept the relationship going anyway. For himself, it was secret, illicit, and that secrecy itself was undermining her position, her karma.
Keeping her in limbo, waiting for something that just wasn't coming. That secrecy really set the stage, didn't it?
It absolutely did, because then someone else walks in, through the front door, the proper way.
Ahmed Nassar, also 22, like them, but completely different story.
Worlds apart. Ahmed's a successful scrap trader. He's got his own business, money, and importantly, a furnished apartment ready to go in Arab Gamaza.
He's stable, respectable, ready to commit right now. He goes to Warda's family, does everything properly.
Presents himself well, shows he's financially secure. The family, naturally, they welcome him. This is what they want for their daughter.
And Warda, what does she do?
Well, she panics. This forces her hand, right? She's got these 2 completely separate lives. So she rushes to Mohamed.
Thinking maybe, just maybe, this is the moment. He'll finally step up, propose, make their relationship legitimate before she's pushed into this other marriage.
You'd think so. But his reaction, it's just incredibly cold. He looks at her, this woman supposedly he's been involved with all this time, and just says, congratulations.
Wow. No fight, no plea, just congratulations.
Worse, he immediately suggests a plan, a really cynical one. He tells her, go on, marry Ahmed, get the money, get the apartment, and they'll just carry on their secret affair like before. Use Ahmed's resources while betraying him.
Okay, hold on. You mentioned earlier maybe divorce wasn't simple. Could this be tied to that Karama thing again? Like, divorce would bring shame, ruin her reputation, send her back home a failure. So maybe marrying Ahmed, even with the secret plan, felt like preserving some kind of outer respectability while getting security.
That's a really important point. It seems Warda realized in that moment Mohamed only cared about the secret relationship, not about giving her a respectable life. The sources suggest she actually had a moment where she thought, okay, I need to cut ties with him, marry Ahmed, do the right thing for my family, for myself.
He chose the respectable path for a minute.
Outwardly, yes. The engagement was fast. 2 months later, they're married. She moves into the new apartment in El Saf City.
And this apartment, it's on the second floor, right above Ahmed's brother on the first floor.
Exactly. Built-in supervision, almost. Constant risk of being seen.
So how long did her resolve to be respectable last?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Just 2 weeks after the wedding, Mohamed calls her, and she answers instantly. No hesitation.
What'd she say? Did she tell him to leave her alone?
Quite the opposite. She apparently told him she was miserable, living in torment and hell without him. Just like that, the marriage commitment, the Karama, all out the window.
So the affair was back on, basically, over the phone.
Yeah, the calls went on for about 2 months. Then, inevitably, Mohamed suggests meeting up at the apartment.
Her husband's apartment, with the brother downstairs.
Right. And this is telling. Warda refuses. But why does she refuse?
Not because it's wrong.
No. Because she's scared. Scared the brother-in-law will catch them or the neighbors will see. It's fear of exposure, not moral principle. The betrayal itself isn't the issue for her anymore.
That's a dark turn from wanting respectability to this.
Yeah. And then she takes it even further. It's Warda, apparently, who proposes the final solution. She says they can't just sneak around. They need to get rid of the obstacle.
Eliminate Ahmed.
Eliminate Ahmed.
Yes.
Kill him. Stage the scene. Then, she suggests, they wait a year, give Mohamed time to supposedly get his finances in order, and then they can get married.
She rejected divorce outright. Just jumped straight to murder.
That's the chilling part. Divorce was an option. Ahmed seems like the kind of guy who might have granted it, maybe not happily, but probably without violence.
Yeah.
But they didn't choose that path.
Why? Fear of the shame was that strong? Stronger than the fear of execution?
It seems so. They opted for the most extreme, complicated, high-risk path imaginable, seemingly to avoid the social fallout of a simple divorce. It's baffling logic.
So they decide on murder. How do they plan to get away with it? They need a cover story.
And they find one ready-made, unfortunately. El Saf City was in turmoil. There was this huge, violent feud going on between Ahmed's village, Arab Gamaza, and a rival village, Arab al-Hisar.
Real violence, like people getting killed.
Oh, yes. It was serious. Guns, deaths, long-running vendettas, what they call tar, deep-seated conflict.
And Warda saw this chaos as an opportunity.
Exactly. She tells Mohamed,
Yeah.
this is our cover. We kill Ahmed, make it look like attackers from Arab al-Hisar did it as revenge, part of the feud.
Using genuine community tragedy. That's incredibly cynical. Using their neighbors' suffering to hide their own crime.
Profoundly so. It shows a terrifying level of detachment. So the plan is set. Now the preparations. This is about 4 months after the wedding.
Great. Mohamed gets the sleeping pills. And you mentioned an empty syringe.
Yeah, empty syringe. Bizarre, right? It suggests maybe he had this idea of an air injection, something quick and hard to trace.
But didn't actually know how to do it or get the right stuff.
Seems likely.
Mm-hmm.
It points to flawed planning, focusing on the drama, maybe, not the practicalities. Meanwhile, Warda buys the knives. 2 new sharp ones.
Okay, so execution night. Walk us through the timeline again.
Right. 9:00 p.m., Mohamed gets to El Saf, drops off the kit pills, syringe somewhere for Warda to pick up.
Midnight. She gives Ahmed the juice with the pills.
Then 1:00 a.m., Mohamed lets himself in, the door's unlocked, waiting for him.
He goes for the silent method first. The syringe.
Tries to.
Yeah.
But instead of silently calling Ahmed, the needle prick just hurts him, wakes him up.
And the whole silent plan instantly collapses into that violent struggle we started with.
Exactly. The struggle, the stabbing, chaos.
Okay, so Ahmed's dead. The deed is done. But now they have to sell the cover story.
Right. Stage the scene. So Mohamed hits Warda on the head enough to injure her, make it look like she fought back or was assaulted.
The guys are up too.
Yeah, but apparently quite loosely, suspiciously. Then he grabs her gold jewelry. Her mobile phone makes it look like a robbery gone wrong, tied to the feud. And then he flees.
And Warda waits. How long?
About 30 minutes. Then she starts screaming, loudly, alerting the brother downstairs, the neighbors.
And tells them the story they rehearsed. Attackers from the rival village broke in, tied her up, stole valuables, killed Ahmed in revenge.
That was the official story. But it didn't hold up for long.
Why not? What went wrong?
Well, the police and forensic teams arrive, and they immediately see problems. Big ones.
Like what?
First, 0 signs of forced entry. None. A gang of vengeful villagers isn't going to just knock politely, right? They'd break down the door, smash a window. There was nothing.
Okay, that's suspicious. What else?
The way Warda was tied up, it looked fake, staged. Not like someone genuinely restrained during a violent attack. And her injuries seemed a bit too convenient, maybe.
Professionals would spot that kind of thing quickly, I guess.
Absolutely. It's often the small details in the staging that give it away. They're so focused on the big lie, they mess up the simple things, like making the break-in look real.
So the physical evidence was already shaky. Did they find anything else?
They didn't even need complex forensics initially. They did the most basic standard check imaginable.
Which was?
Her phone records. They look at the recent calls. Last number dialed or received.
Let me guess. Mohamed.
Bingo. It was Mohammed. The simplest check blew the whole thing wide open.
Unbelievable. All that planning, the violence, the complex cover story, tricked up by a phone call.
It happens more often than you'd think. So they track Mohammed down fast.
And when they find him...
He's still got her gold, her mobile phone, and critically, he's got cuts and wounds on his hands. Defensive wounds, likely from the struggle with Ahmed. Clear physical evidence linking him directly to the violence. Plus, he was apparently extremely tense, nervous.
Caught red-handed, basically.
Completely. And the shock of being caught so fast, it seemed to break both of them.
They confessed?
Immediately. Spilled the entire story, the affair, the resentment, the plot, the flawed execution, everything.
Just like that. And the outcome.
Trial, conviction, and the sentence was death by execution for both Warda and Mohamed.
It's just such a catastrophic failure on every level. Morally, obviously, but even strategically.
Totally. Think about it. They chose murder, arguably the highest risk, most complex solution to deal with what was essentially a social problem. Wanting a divorce, wanting to be together without the shame.
A problem that had simpler, non-lethal solutions, however difficult they might have seemed at the time.
Exactly. And the speed they were caught just highlights how poorly they thought it through. They focused on the violence, the drama, the feud cover, but missed the blindingly obvious.
Like checking phone records. Like staging a convincing break-in.
Basic stuff. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? People plan these incredibly high-stakes, life-altering crimes.
Yeah, and they overlook the simplest details. So here's something for you, the listener, to think about. What does this tell us about so-called perfect crimes? These two tried to weave their personal betrayal into this larger tapestry of community violence, this ancient tradition of vendetta.
But they were undone by the most modern, traceable piece of evidence, the digital footprint on a phone.
Maybe the takeaway is that when you choose the most extreme, destructive path to solve what seems like an impossible social problem, you're already operating so far outside of rational thinking that you're bound to miss the obvious. They didn't just sacrifice honor, they sacrificed basic common sense, and it cost them everything.